calendar. Okay. This is the little saying that I said we will probably go over every session because it's so important. And it's funny that I just talked about this last week, and then on our leadership, it's the first thing that Eric hit us up with. And he said this was important right now that we need to be thinking about it. One reason is because June, and we're now almost ready for July. One reason is because I feel like right now is our new January. So the goals, the things that you've said in the past, let's just put them aside. Let's set new goals. Let's be determined to get there, be committed, and let's move forward with it. So with that said, what is the one thing you can do, such as by doing it, everything else will become easier or unnecessary. And I can tell you up high on that list, I don't know where yours is, but up high on that list is going to be lead generating and getting your plan together, whatever it is. Okay, this is some fun things that we do, or I do. I laughed at Eric when I first was talking to him about some different things, and he said, you're always dangling the carrot. I really think that learning needs to be fun. And so in productivity coaching, we have what we call Hagen Bucks, or Hagen Bucks is on my team, KW Bucks. And so Hagen Bucks is also with my grandkids. We do this. I've done it forever. So this is a thing that we'll have going from now on. Carrie will be keeping up with this. You'll have, once you've signed your contract with me, you'll have a file folder, and you'll have your KW Bucks in there, and there'll be, it'll be like a bank. She'll have a list of things. So every so often, I don't know if we'll do it every week, but we'll at least do it once a month. We'll update you and let you know what your bank of bucks has. At the end of the year, then we're going to have an auction. I have had people like before that would donate flat screen TVs, laptops. So we have fun with these bucks that we had. We do MAPS coaches that will do personal coaching for you that you can buy. So lots of different things, and it's a really fun party, and I'm hoping by December that we'll be able to get together and have the auction and not do it on Zoom the way things are opening up right now. So you can see this is a list of things. The way you earn KW Bucks with us in productivity coaching is by actually doing the things that I ask you to do that's going to make you better in this business. So the number of buyer appointments this week. So if you get 3, you get $100 for each one. So you get $300 that will go over there in your total. And then listing appointments attended each, you get $100. Listings taken, listings closed. These are things that are just going to make you money. So it's keeping you focused. What you focus on expands. We also have a number tracker. I'm going to review that again today. And all of these things will be in your productivity coaching cloud. So you'll have access to everything there. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on here. Please get this. This is also the KW Bucks. This sheet is also in our box file. If you don't find it, please text us. And these need to be turned in weekly with your numbers. So, review from last week. Have you signed up in coaching? If you haven't signed up, you need to contact me, or you need to contact Carrie. And you can text me, 479-644-9042. Carrie, off the top of my head, I cannot repeat your number. Will you please repeat it?
Yeah, it's 870-615-2232, and I'll put my contact info in the chat.
Okay, thank you very much. Stick mine in there too, just in case they don't have it.
Okay.
So signed up for coaching, we need to send you a contract, and that's what I said. It's for a year or until you cap. I'd like to see you cap twice in the program, and we'll help you, show you what you have to do on that. And then I want your goals set. We went over all of that last week. I'm going to briefly go over some things today so you'll see exactly what we're talking about setting your goals. So I need your goals set this week, okay? This was our schedule that we had June 9th. We did the introduction. That's where we went over everything from top to bottom. If you missed that, then I want to invite you to what we call What Next. And What Next is on the 3rd Monday, and I will be doing everything again. So if you know of somebody that wants to get on the beginning, they want to look at these systems, then What Next, that's for brand new agents that will be coming into productivity coaching, and if you missed it. And then next week, we're going to do your listing presentation. I've got the listing presentation today that we're going to review. I want you to practice, look at it during the week this week. I may ask one of you to step forward and even review and go through some of the listing presentations. So this is a safe place for all of us. You need your listing presentation. You need to feel free to do it with us so that you can practice and do it with the other. You don't want to practice on your clients when you're out there. And then on the 30th, we're going to do working with buyers. That working with buyers presentation is already in box. Once you're in there, you'll be able to see that and the listing presentation. So if you've not signed a contract, then you won't be able to see these things. Get that done to review. So once you do, you're going to be invited to Box. You'll be what we call a collaborator, and this is where you signed up. If you hadn't signed up and you do have a contract, please go in there and sign up. And then once you've signed up in Box, you can go on your apps, go on your phone, and there's an app for your phone. Anything you can do on your laptop or on your desktop, you can do on your phone. So if somebody needs a disclosure, or somebody needs something that you're saving in your own files in Box, then you can take care of everything from your phone. So it's really quick. Also, once you get it on there, I'll be able to text you links different. So if you don't have something, Carrie and I both with your phone number, we can just text you a link that will open up in Box on your phone or also on the desktop. So if you're on your laptop and you go to 2020 PC Agents, that's going to be your cloud that's in there. This is setting your goals. These are the things that are going to be inside that cloud account, that box. So your GPS for 2020, we went over. I'm going to show you that again, just briefly. Your personal number calculated for the first quarter that you're in here. Your 411, I'm going to show you where else you can find a 411 in case you want that. And then your 4 conversations. And your 4 conversations are going to be about how many listings you've taken. Well, I've got this on here. We'll go through. This is what your goal setting looks like. Is there anyone, and I'm going to open this up for just a second again. Let me get this pulled down so I can open this up. Is there anyone on here that has set their goals, that wants to ask a question or talk about it? No one set their goals? Is there anyone on here that's going to set their goals this week? Let me see that. Let me hear you go. Unmute yourself and go, I'm setting my goals. Thank you.
I'm setting my goals.
All right. Okay.
Set my goals at the beginning of the year.
Who said that? I'm not seeing you.
Mackenzie.
Okay, Mackenzie. Mackenzie, you can talk to Nina because I know that you're on her team and those are great. What we do, and I don't know if you were on here last time, we like for you to set them quarterly so we can push you. If you set them for a year, sometimes you feel like you've got time to do them. If they're for December, you keep going, I've got time, I'll do this later. So we want to pressure you, especially that we're in this pandemic, to set them for at least for quarterlies. We call it the 12-week year. I read that book at the first of the year and I changed my team over, and I think it changes your mindset so that you don't procrastinate as much. So you can still do it for the year if you want to, and we can set this up. I have, huh?
It's called the 12-week year.
Yes, that's the book that I read. And then this is just something we moved over for quarterly instead of annual. You can do it annually, but this just see you're doing 3 months here, and I put 10 weeks. 3 months is really 12 weeks, but I'm assuming that you know what that does for you. This is summer, that a lot of you are going to be off. You're going to be spending time with your family. You're going to miss a day here, a day there. That may walk into a week. So you might put 11. These things that are in green, you can change. The things that are in blue are automatically there, and they're triggered in from what you fill in the blue. I mean, in the green. So this is your commission. For example, if you charge 3% or 6% and you get a 3%, it's one side is what it's acting here. So if you have 2 contracts, and if you have the list and the sale, then it would be 6, but it would be 2 of them. It will count as 2 transactions. So that will take up for the 6. So your commission for one side is 3%. The average commission split that you've got, most of you that are in coaching are on 60-40. And so if you want to make $15,000, again, this is changeable when you get in there, $15,000 this next quarter, your average sales price is $150,000. That's, you can change that. The average sales price in Northwest Arkansas has been $200,000 for quite some time. So you can change that to $200,000 or you can leave it at $150,000. My experience has been that overall, a lot of PC new agents average a little bit lower because they feel more comfortable working with lower end. Gonna say here that it is just as easy to sell a $200,000 house as it is to sell or a $300,000 as it is to sell $150,000. And then the percentage of time that you're the listing agent. So That's 50%. I would give it 50-50 until you know what you're going to do. Seller leads, I've got 50% there. So you can read these things. If you have questions, I don't want to spend a lot of time because we did this last week, and I don't want you to get bored on these things, and we have a whole lot to cover. But if you look over here with this scenario, for the next 3 months to make $15,000, you need 3 listings and 3 buyers. Not a lot to do. That means that the number of seller leads you need is 14, 5 per month, or 2 per week, just 2 per week. I love how this breaks it down so in your mind you can see what I've got to do this week. So if you don't get 2 seller leads this week and you only get 1, in order to hit your goals, you've got a gap. So next week you need to get 3 seller leads so you know where you are to hit the goals that you've set for yourself. Okay, Carrie, are there any questions on that before we move off of this? Okay, these are the other 2 things that I want, 2 other things that we want you to set for your goals. This is your 1-3-5. We went over this again last week. You set 1 goal, 3 priorities, and 5 strategies. So if your goal is to, and it can't be about money because you'll give up if it's just about money. If you set 15,000 and you hit 10, you might be okay with 10,000. So when it's about money, you're not quite as committed to your goals. So make it about something else in here. Like you can do a 1-3-5 on a lot of different things. You can do it on open houses and the strategies that you're going to have. A virtual open house, you're going to do an in-person open house, you're going to do a mega open house, and then the strategies that you're going to have to do each one of those. Or you can make it about lead generation. You're going to, number 1, you're going to call expireds. How are you going to do that? Where are you going to get the numbers? Number 2, you're going to call for sale by owners. 3, you're going to call your sphere. 4, you're going to call past clients if you've been in this for a business for a little bit. So if you have any questions about that, then you again can let us know. This is just a GPS, your roadmap for success and how you're going to accomplish it. And then your 411, this is something that Keller Williams does. And basically this is 1 month or 1 year. See, we're doing ours for a quarter instead of a year. So this is a quarter goal. What do you want to accomplish? What is the big rock that you would like to see happen in this quarter? And then I stuck in there closed units and lead generation. When someone comes into the real estate business as a new career, the number 1 thing they want to know is, how much money can I make and what kind of training can I get and how fast can I get there? And so this is what we have these things set up for. This is your roadmap. It does take a little bit of time to do it, but it will be worth it in the long run. Trust me, I have a PC coach. I had a coach as a team lead, and I want you to understand, I fill out these very same things. I have a 1-3-5 to get you to capping in 30, 60, and 90 days. I have filled that out. I've sent it in to her. So I've got goals that I've got to get you to hit in order for you to cap. That was my 1-3-5. Now, if you would like a digital copy of the 411, you go to MyKW and you go hover over resources, and it's at the very bottom. And this is a digital copy where it will move from month to month. I love that. One of the things I will caution you on this 411 is that if you're moving it over, just be careful because you think sometimes it doesn't move. And I moved my goals and had like 100-something things in there and it only deletes 1 at a time. So that's a neat thing for you to know where you can access the digital 411. Okay, understanding what it takes to succeed. Again, this is your tracker that Carrie has set up for you. And this is in your productivity coaching. And we have this based on the weeks, the 3rd 12 weeks, the 4th 12 weeks, so that we're continuing it. She has got June, she's got July, and everything folds under. Those first 3 columns are frozen, your goals, your gap, and your grand total. Get in there, look at this. So your centers of influence, these are your contacts, gives you ideas of different people for you to call, and then you can keep those totals in the different days. And then we want you to, your accountability is weekly. We need for you to turn these in weekly. The reason we like to see what you're doing is that when we talk, it's your conversion. So how many contacts does it take you to get a lead? Once you start keeping up with this, then you're going to see if you made 100 contacts and you got 3 leads, now you know that you have to contact 100 people, and depending on where they are, are for sale by owners better for you? Are expireds better for you? Then you'll look at the very bottom is your productivity. This is how many hours you really worked, how many hours you prospected. Then I want to know the difference of calls or texts that were made, how many listing appointments you took, how many listing appointments, then how many listings taken, how many buyer appointment, buyer contracts. Those could be exclusive buyer agencies, and then actually contracts that you're writing, appointments total, open houses held, and then closings. As you start to get these things in, then we'll see how many lead contacts it takes you to get a lead, and how many leads it takes you to write a contract, and how many contracts it takes you to have a closing, so we can establish the plan for you to make the amount of money that you want to make. And then again, this is back in your box, 2020. This is your market statistics, and this is, we've done this for you. These kind of things make you look like the agent that's prepared when you're talking to a seller or you're talking to a buyer. So we have this broken down every 2 weeks, every week on your market statistics there. And then we have a monthly total. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. This is your monthly total. Again, you don't have to do these. We're putting these in coaching for you. So it breaks down the price range. And on this one, we've got, if you look at the very bottom, we've got Rogers, Bentonville, Centerton, Fayetteville, Springdale, Benton County, and Washington County. So this is broken down in active listings, how many in the first 90 days, how many sold in each category, and then how many sold that month, the month supply that we have. So you can see here, I have got Bentonville in 0 to 99,000. There are no houses when you start pulling those up. There are no month supplies. We need listings in that price range. The other thing is, if you look at 100 to 149, you've got 3 months total there, 9 in 90 days, 3 that sold, no month supply, 32 days on the market, and they're gone. So you can look at each one of these categories, and then you can go down there and click the different cities. So if you've got a listing in Centerton and you want to know average days on the market, month supply in that price range, this is going to make you look like the agent that's in the know because of what's happening in this market. And then this is what we put out. This is the second week of June. So this is all over. This is with Northwest Arkansas, not just in different cities. So new to Northwest Arkansas, we had 173 new listings this past week, the second week of June. There were 406 that went pending, 310 that sold, 100 that price decrease, and then 12 that had a price increase. So guys, this lets you see we are in a seller's market that we talked about last week. This tells your sellers that, we only had 173 new ones, 406 went pending, and 300 sold. We need listings. Okay, your listing presentation. I want to stop for a second, and we're going to move through this. Are you guys understanding what's available for you and where you're going to find it? Does it look good to you that you're going to have this? You excited about it? I can see Babette.
Yes.
Sort of dark. Okay. All right. All that's available. Any questions? Hi, Lisa. You weren't on there a few minutes ago. How are you? Caroline?
Doing great.
Any questions? Okay. I'm going to minimize again, and we're going to move forward. Uh-oh. Let me go back just a second and minimize this. Okay. This is, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this right now. Looks like we're moving through those other things pretty quickly. So this is the listing presentation that I put together for productivity coaching. Some of you may have a listing presentation already. You can use that. You can take some slides out of this and use this. If we have enough time and we cover this, then we'll move on to something else for next week. So stop me if you want to talk about this and ask me about the slides. So when you go into a home, your goal is here. What I want you to do is to practice this, practice this, practice this. I can't say that enough. Practice this so that you feel comfortable that if I just called and said, hey, Lisa, darling, and I'll pick on her because she knows I've done this before. Would you go over the listing presentation? Would you do that next week in front of everybody? And I can promise you the ones that I've done that for on my team and before in productivity coaching, they have learned the listing presentation. The teacher, the person that's performing, learns more than the student does. So the first thing you want to do when you sit down with people in your listing presentation is you want to tell them your goal that you want to accomplish that day. So we say there's 3 important issues that we're going to consider. 1 is your motivation to sell your home. 2 is the price that we set on your home. And 3 is what are we going to do to market it? I have them in this order because number one, whoops, you want to know what their motivation is, because if they're not motivated and they're just looking, then you're going to probably move a little bit faster, give them the information, give them what they want. But if they're just looking, keep in mind, just looking means that at some point they're probably going to buy. Number two is the price. This is the one they're the most interested in. You want to know their motivation because you're going to negotiate and use it. You want to find out if they're just saying that to you, do they have a real objection or do they have a condition? You know, I'd sell my home if I felt like there wasn't 100 people that were going to walk through it. Then you're going to know what's really on their mind and what's really what their condition is for you to get this listing today. The price is what they're really looking for. Is the price conducive to something that I probably could sell? And then if you can't agree on a price somewhere in here, then you can move to the marketing, probably spend as little less time on marketing, because if you can't settle on a price and you can't get the house priced right, there really doesn't matter what you're going to do to market it. The next slide is to talk to them again about their motivation, their move. Where do you plan on moving? Well, I'm going to move to, I'm living in Bella Vista and I want to move to Bentonville because I want to be closer to my work. So you talk to them about that. Now, when you call them on the phone, a lot of times you ask them this question. So when you get here and you say, where do you plan on moving? If they've already told you, say, well, you know, I remember that you told me you're living in Bella Vista and we get your home listed. You want to move closer to work, probably somewhere in the Bentonville area would be good for you. Are you looking for in town in a subdivision, or would you like to be maybe just on the outskirts of Bentonville? How soon do you have to be there? You know, well, I don't like my house sold in the next 30 days. Great. You know, they're really motivated. Have you considered what net proceeds would be necessary from the sale of your home? Here you want to find out what they owe and what they're thinking. Most of them, when they get on here, when they get on with you, whether you're in Zoom or you're in person, most of them have an idea what they'd like to see themselves net when they list this property. Do you know the principal balance of your mortgage? Again, this is more for you than for them. They say, I'd like to net, you know, $50,000 and I think my house is worth 250. So then they say, but I owe 225. There's a little bit of discrepancy there. So ask these questions. When you're asking these questions, whether you're on Zoom or not, you really need to take notes so you can review back and repeat back to them what they said. These questions are where you need to be for negotiation. If they don't know the principal balance of their mortgage, then you're going to ask them to, when they make a payment, a lot of time it's online and those are really, really close. Every month when I make a payment on like my car or my house, whatever, it shows what I owe the principal balance. A long time ago, we would have to say, call the bank and find out, because they had a lot of penalties and fees and those kind of things in there. It still doesn't hurt for them to talk to a lender at their bank and say, if I were to get an offer and close on my house in 30 days, what would my payoff be? And then they also want to ask, what's in my escrow account? You know, a lot of times when you close, then it depends on what time of the year it is. Their taxes and those kind of things are escrowed. So if that's not been paid, they're going to have a big escrow account. If they just paid it, they may have a small escrow account. And depending on where they are on their taxes, it's going to depend on what their HUD's going to look like when they go to closing. So talk about those kind of things now, not later. Also, you're going to go and check the county records. We will talk about these things in a little bit more detail. The county record's going to show you if they've paid their taxes or not. And if it says they haven't, you might question them, because if it's in the spring, March, April, they should be paid by now if they're escrowed and the mortgage company is. So if they're not, you might find out. A lot of times you can find out here that they don't have the money. And right now, you might want to know, did they take a forbearance? Because if they took a forbearance, and that forbearance means that they're letting them not pay their payment for a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever they did, you want to find out how that forbearance is going to affect the closing. Most of the things that I'm hearing, the forbearance is forgiven. They may ask for it on the end, and 9 times out of 10, they are going to ask for that on the end. So if your payments were $1,000 and you skip 3 months, then you've had $3,000 added to the end. Some of those are saying they're due at the 4th month, and a lot of people didn't realize that. So this is a good opportunity for you to talk to them if they've taken that, to find out for sure. I know they were saying everybody get this, and I know Jimmy called and talked to our mortgage company, and they didn't act like it was going to be moved to the end. They act like it might be due at the end of 3 months, and we decided not to do that. if you didn't need to take that forbearance, or if you didn't need to move that financially, it's probably better for the person to have not done that. At least they need to ask more questions if they have. So this makes you the knowledge broker with them. And then listing expectations. This is you talking to them today after considering the market condition and the safety for you and your family and your home valuations and our marketing strategies. One of these things are going to happen. You're going to decide to list your property with us. We may decide under current market conditions and your motivation, it may not be the best time to list your home. Either way, we will work in your best interest to get your property sold or help you prepare for a listing in the near future. So you don't want to say we're not going to list it ever, because they're talking to you about this. What needs to happen? You know, do they owe more than they can pay off? Have they taken a forbearance and they found out that they're going to have to pay an extra $3,000? Can you work that in? Do they have enough equity on that? So many things that you're going to take into consideration. This gives you that option to talk to them about that and to get the information to get it straight with them. And then Keller Williams Market Pro, this is the safety policy. And again, you can personalize this. This just gives you the option and to know where you are on this. So these are some things that I think are necessary to talk to them. In-person showings are still available. We have a lot of people moving out now and they're showing property. Babette had a wonderful weekend. She had a listing that the first, and Babette, I'll let you talk about this in a few minutes, but she had, like, on Saturday, 25 people through. On Sunday, she had another 18 through. Babette, go ahead and unmute yourself and talk about that. I think that's, let me pull you down here.
Wow, that was something. My neighbors were even thought they're like all outside going, "What's going on?" They were really happy for the sellers, but
Her neighbors are her listing.
I'm sorry. Yes, I should have said it. They do happen to live on my street. So they asked what I did is I wrote them a letter, and more than once she told me, because you wrote me a letter, I picked you out of all my other friends who are real estate agents, and she knew I was brand new and she still trusted me. And so I was able to get them a new house they bought, and I got to sell this house, and I even have their land that's lakefront. And so from writing a letter.
That's awesome.
So
Babette, did you mail that? Was it direct mail? Did you deliver it around your neighborhood? Or what did you do with that?
I did it mail
Okay.
with a stamp and an envelope, and it went to them.
So how many of those did you mail out?
I tried to. Well, what I started doing was that what we called with a 10-4, and you know what that is.
That's from Ignite.
And right, through Ignite. And what happened is I started sending them out, and the people I sent them to wanted me to sell their house. So I was like in the middle of, I had to stop other than the follow up from that property and the land, because I'm only one person. And I was like, I went fishing and I caught a fish. I went fishing and I caught a fish. So I had to learn to work it through. I mean, I don't mean to sound braggy, but oh my gosh, it wasn't that just kind of very unexpected. And
how many did you send? 10 out, or?
I've sent 20 letters out, so I think so far.
Okay. Yeah. And out of those, how many listings have you taken?
3.
Y'all, that is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, with what's happening right now, and then what I was saying a few minutes ago, Saturday, you had how many people at your open house at this house?
I had 25 on Saturday, and I actually had 16 on Sunday, so for a total of 41.
Okay. And out of those, how many are interested in buying a house?
I got 7 offers, and now I have 5 backups that I'm working on. So I'm learning how to fill out all that notification stuff, and that's really, it's pretty involved. Yeah. So I'm learning by, what do you say, jumping in the fire or something like that? Learning by fire. Yeah.
Both feet in the fire. Yes. So congratulations. Has anyone else over the weekend had this kind of an experience? I don't want to pass it up. Something that's fun, that's been good, that you'd like to share. Is there anyone on here that would like to have this experience? Yes. So what price range was that, Babette?
I was actually asking 270, and unlike most people, I had to talk them into it. I had all my marketing analysis done. I'm like, I really think we can get this, because they wanted to list it under that, and I ended up significantly over the asking price.
Correct.
So,
Craig, isn't that the price range that you had 17 offers on? Craig, are you there?
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm Zoom. I'm having issues today, but yes, we were at 220.
Okay, I thought it was higher
yeah,
than that, yeah.
Yeah, we had 34 showings and ended up getting closes tomorrow, but roughly 17,000 above ask price and 18 offers.
Yeah, guys, the business is out there. This should encourage you to get out there and get going. Okay. Anybody else want to say anything before we move forward? Congratulations. Okay, so in-person showings are still available. We've just heard that she had physical open houses, not virtual open houses. Sellers are taking necessary sanitizing precautions. So you want to make these people that you're listing their homes, you want to make them feel comfortable that you have everything under control. You can have gloves there if they want people to wear gloves. You can ask them to turn the lights on. You can ask them to have only one couple at a time come in and the rest of the people have to stand outside. Whatever rules you put in, you need safety rules with that. And then you tell them they can electronically sign all documents from the comfort of their home, because you're going to go over those documents with them before all of this happens. So they're going to understand when you send those documents, what needs to be signed and what you're talking to them about. And then buyer precautions, they're limiting the number of people. We just talked about that. And I think, again, Babette said she had a line outside of her house with that. Contracts are going to be emailed, all listing and buyer contracts for digital signatures, and then virtual tours and appointments are available if they feel more comfortable with it. So you can do an open house that's there. You can let other people have open houses. You can do virtual open houses. Jenny on my team was talking about, she did something on TikTok, and I don't know if she's on here right now, but she did something on TikTok and had, I don't know how many, I think she said 17 shares. I don't think I've ever had that many shares on something like that. Just talking about her listing, I mean, her, someone else's listing. She borrowed a listing and put it on there. So you guys can do that. If you don't have any listings right now, talk to somebody in this group and they'll let you go out there, because what we want is our listings sold. It doesn't really, we'd like to sell it ourselves. That'd be nice, but the bottom line is you want it sold. There are 5 essential ingredients that comprise the formula for a successful sale of your home. They are condition, location, market, terms, and price. So we're going to go over those. Location, the pricing of your home must reflect its location. So you can have, one of the things when we pull those comps, and Carrie and I talked about this, when you pull the comps, you can pull average square footage in a city, and we've got that on there. I hid that, and you can see it. They're hidden on those graphs that we were talking about a few minutes ago. And the main reason I hid it is you can look and see what the average sales price is in Bentonville. You can look and see what it is in Washington County, Benton County. But when you're doing a listing presentation, it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense for you to tell them that, because if you can build the same house in Shadow Valley and build it in Pinnacle, and you're going to get 2 price per square foot's different, you can build the same house in a subdivision and the same one on a golf course or on a lake, and you're going to get higher price per square foot, depending. Again, that's what location is. These are things that you're going to talk to your sellers about in this listing presentation. Then it's been said in the past, and it holds true, the better the location, the higher the acceptable price. And so location does make a difference. Like I said, you can put the same house in a different place and you're going to get different price per square foot from an appraiser. School districts, high or low traffic, high accessibility, lakes, golf courses, these are all listed for you to go over with the seller. We can't control the location where the house is. The house can be immaculate, it can be beautiful, it can have all these neat things, but the location is probably the most important thing that's going to determine the price we set on it. Condition, when you talk about condition, the pricing of the home must accurately reflect its condition. So if you walk into a home and it has ceilings that looks like that rain has come through and they're leaking, then they're thinking, well, maybe there's mold in that wall or something like that. So They need to get those things fixed and they need to have them checked. You could have carpets that are torn up from having pets in there. Carpet does not give you a lot of value from an appraiser if it's brand new carpet, but if it's really bad carpet, buying a home is an emotional value. And all they can see with things like that is that I've got to fix this before I'm going to be happy living here. So then the general upkeep and presentation of your home is critical in obtaining the highest value. It's not going to make it sell for more, but you need to tell your sellers that they need to be ready to show this house at any point. They don't need to leave the house with pizza left all over the table and dirty dishes and kids' toys thrown out and bathrooms with clothes on the floor. Probably most people are not, but sometimes it just helps to talk to them. Their home needs to be ready to show at any time. The nature of the roof, the plumbing, the carpets, the paint all reflect the condition. If the paint is peeling, it probably needs to be fixed. Some of the factors that will add value to the appraiser that need to be upgraded, you can tell the sellers this, are kitchens, baths, and landscaping. So if a kitchen has got Formica countertops, it's going to get less value than one that's got granite, especially in today's market. Then the market itself, you know, when you're in a recession, and they have said that we are in a recession at this point, and it depends on how you look at recession. We're not in a housing recession like we were in 2007, 8 back then. Totally different kind of recession that we went over in the very beginning last week. Inflation, you know, what's going to happen as far as inflation. So if prices are overpriced or they're underpriced, and, you know, inflation could go back to the government giving everybody a lot of money. Somebody needs to mute themselves, please. Carrie, if you can tell who that is, will you mute them? Then they can come back. Thank you very much. Inflation, like the government is giving us out all this money and they're sending these stimulus checks, and some people are making more money than they had on their job with stimulus checks. So at some point, inflation's going to hit. Maybe not now, it may be 2 years from now. Interest rates, as you're explaining this, we are in the lowest interest rates that I've ever seen, and they're staying low. So it's a great time to buy a house. We're a shortage of homes. Sellers today can make the most money. Buyers can buy the most house because of interest rates. Mortgage availability, that has something to do with the market. And right now, mortgage availability is probably one of the things that's crimped the most. That mortgage availability, you've got to have really good credit today. You know, there's some job losses and they're coming back. They're going to have that. So job stability, that may be a challenge for you. So be sure and have your people pre-qualified, pre-approved with a loan officer as you're writing these offers. And then competition, buyers, supply and demand, buyer's market, seller's market. We're in a seller's market right now. Public perception of the general economy. Right now, people are not sure what's happening in the economy. They're not sure. This is why you need to be the knowledge broker. You need to understand these statistics that we've gone over. What's happening and what's happening in the world, in the whole nation, doesn't necessarily mean what's happening in Northwest Arkansas. So you be that knowledge broker. Take the numbers that we're giving you, take them to that listing presentation and tell them what's going on. You know that it's a seller's market. You tell them why it's a seller's market. Use some of those slides that we've given you before. The pricing of your home must reflect the current nature of the market. We cannot influence the market nor the location. We can, however, take advantage of the market. We'll provide them with a complete market analysis, and this is where you talk to them about the market analysis, net sheets, and establish value and how much profit you can make on your home. Here's where you go over the months of inventory. This talks to them about that buyer's market, the 7 months or more of homes, 6 months or less, we're in a seller's market. We are definitely in a seller's market. So this explains that. This also shows them the grid and what's happened over the past few years and today where we are. And actually, we've been in a seller's market for a little while here. Okay, this is the absorption rate, and I would include these. Again, you can take them out, but this makes you look very knowledgeable. This was updated at the end of May, and we're getting these updated on a monthly basis. If you go to team meetings, and by this, I don't mean your team if you're on a team, my team, I mean team meetings with Keller Williams Market Pro. These are the third Thursday of the month, and They're announced on KW, so you need to go to them. So they talk about the market, what's happening, anything that's happening in our market center where we are as far as Keller Williams based on Northwest Arkansas market. But what an absorption rate means is we've got these in different prices. So 0 to 160 in the last 90 days, 586 have sold. The monthly average over the last 90 days, so the last 3 months, has been 195. That means we've only listed, so we have 188 active right now, 29 days of inventory in that price range. You can look at each price range as we go up, even the luxury price range, still 237 days. Total active right now in the market, 1909 as of 5/22, 58 days of inventory. So, and then if you look down here, sold neighbor in 2019, if you want to compare year over year, 16%, 2020, 1,251. So those are just active numbers that you can take with you. And then the terms that we're going to set in here, the terms, the more financing terms and options you accept, the more potential buyers there will be for your property. So you need to understand the terms that are out there. The pricing of your home, this is where you talk about pricing, must reflect the terms that are available. The easier the terms, the more valuable your property becomes. So if there are FHA terms, if there are conventional terms, if there are cash terms, if there are sellers that will pay buyers closing costs, whatever the terms are, if they will do all those things, it makes it available to more people, more buyers in the market out there. And this is where a team of professional affiliates really shine by offering a broad, full spectrum of mortgage products and options, both for you and potential buyers. So this is where you need to have your team established. You're going to talk to them about your team, your lender. Today I was on the phone and I forgot who it was with. One of the agents that was doing something different. It was a non-conforming property, and she had several pole barns. She had a house and she had 5 acres, and she was trying to find value. And I was telling her that talking to an appraiser, again, get to know these people, talking to an appraiser and see what kind of value are they able to give these amenities that are sitting on 5 acres where it is. You know, if it's in Gentry, if it's in just Benton County out toward the lake, Beaver Lake, where it is, talk to an appraiser. And, you know, don't call them every time you have a little thing like this, but when you've got what we call non-conforming, not in a subdivision, it's got all these different things on it, talk to an appraiser and get their opinion. So when you sit down with that seller with your listing presentation, you can say, this is what I've come up with values. Not only that, I called an appraiser and the appraiser has said that this is what's happening in our market today. Because bottom line, guys, you can set a price on this house. You can set the terms on this house. It's still got to appraise and it still has to inspect. So 2 important issues there. It just makes you look better. So pricing guidelines. What you paid for your property does not affect the value. So what you paid for that property that you have has nothing to do with what we're going to set value on it today. So many times in a listing presentation, they go, but I paid this much. You know, that is great. And I'm happy that you got it for that price, or don't say I'm sad that you got it for that price, but at that point, what you paid for it does not reflect what it is today. The buyers, the location, the condition, those things affect the price. That's all. And if your home is not selling, if you've had it on the market in this day and time, if you had it on the market 30 days, you need to be checking the price, because there's a reason. We're getting multiple offers on every price range you saw, and you can tell the sellers this. I'm saying to you what you need to say to them. If we don't have an offer in 30 days, I'm going to get back with you, because it doesn't matter what the market is saying today. The market is changing on a daily basis right now. And if it's not priced, it's always going to come back. If it's not priced right, it's always going to come back to that. The second thing is the amount of money that you need to make out of the sale of this property does not affect the value. So, and as far as a net value, I need to make $50,000. Those are not even legal. We don't do net listings here. So this is the value of the property. This is what you owe, and this is what you can make. Don't ever go, never go on a listing presentation without a net sheet, so that you can show them what their cost is going to be and what they're going to come out. We also have net sheets on your cloud for you to be able to use. The third thing is what they think it's worth has no effect on the value. You know, they've asked their neighbors, they've asked their friends, they've looked around on Zillow, they've looked around on these other things. You have the market evaluation. Guys, need to know how to pull property. You need to know the market so that you can explain it, excuse me, to that seller. So there is no question how you came up with that price. This is not something you just lay something down in front of them and you say, this is what the value is. You explain it. So when you're through with this listing presentation, that seller can tell you what price we need to set on this property. So when you get through your closing, can say, Mr. Seller, what do you think your home ought to be priced for? If they said it needs to be priced at $250 and you've shown them where the comps say it needs to be at $235, you can say, what price per square foot do you feel like your house will be? Because you've shown them all this stuff and they can't figure in their head fast enough. Well, it needs to be at $125 a square foot. 125 times 3,000 square feet is this amount of money. And you show them what it comes out. They know, they see, they understand because you've been very clear with statistics and your CMA. The next thing on here is what another real estate agent says your property is worth does not affect the value. So there are some agents that will go out there and they will say, you know, I can sell your house for this price. And then it sits there and it sits there and it sits there. It's expired. You know, how did they get that? Show them how you got this value. How did the other agent get that? It has to be the market value and what the buyers are saying. The repairs that you have completed do not always reflect the current equity in your home. Again, we talked about this just a little bit earlier. You know, you can put new carpet in there. It might be pink carpet and they don't want pink carpet. It's new, but it's pink and they don't like it, or it's green, or it's orange, or it's beige and they want pink or green or orange. So the repairs that you make do not always, they're not what the other buyers want. One of my favorite slides, and you can see this in almost any franchise, they've got this, it's out there all over. I thought I owned it, but I didn't. I've been using it for years and years and years. So this is the percentage of the market that the property appeals to. And so the asking price on the left-hand side and the percent of potential buyers. So if you look at the very center of that, it says market value. If we list that home at market value, after everything that we've been looking at, we listed at market value, we are going to pick up 60% of the buyers that are out there looking for this home. If we list it 10% above market value, 10% above market value, then we're only going to pick up 30% of the buyers. We've half the buyers. 15%, now we're down to 10. That's why it sits there when they overprice it. They're looking at this and they're not coming. Actually, what's happening is that house that you listed overpriced is selling the other homes in the neighborhood. That's what it's doing. If you go 10% below market value, 75%, 15%, you've got 90%. This is a strong slide that you're going to use if they want to overprice it. Go back to this slide and show them what happens. Information, this is a good slide for you to have. This is information sources that the buyer used. In 2019, 93% of the buyers went online, 90%. That was the sources that they used. You can go down through, I'm not going to take the time to go down through here on this, but this is the sources that buyer used, and go over these. Don't skim over it like I am right now. Look at some of these things. Well, I would say go down to open house, 51% of the people, but look at what's happening today with Babette. Now, when she goes in there and she says 93% started online, but let me tell you my story. I did an open house and had, 25 people. I had this many people, 16 people the second day, had 7 offers on that open house. I think she actually had the 7 offers before she had the open house, but I'm not positive. We'll let her answer that in just a little bit. But you can go to yard signs, 39%. That was the source that the buyers used. It's very different on the next slide. So be sure that you say, this is where buyers found the home that they purchased. The first one was the source that they started. So look at the internet on this one. 52% found the home that they purchased on the internet. 29% found it with a real estate agent. This is your power. This is your power. So if you look back on here, real estate agent was 87% where they started. This is where they started their source. So some agents are not keeping up with their buyers or their listings at this point. So if you look down here, I want you to make sure that you see Home Books Magazine, print, newspaper, those kind of things. less than 1%. So when you're talking to a seller, you want to make sure that they understand that today, print advertising is not where you want to spend your marketing money. This up here, internet, yard signs, real estate agents, you know, we have got 80% of the people that are using real estate agents and internet. So just be sure and talk about those different areas. And remember, one slide, this slide is where they found the home. The first slide is where they started their search. And then let's take a look at the market. And so here's where you're going to pull out your CMA that you've done. If you have done it and you're doing this on Zoom, then you're going to take a screenshot, put it on here so you can use that for talking points. Be sure that you're familiar with what you've done in that CMA, and we can talk more about that. Over here, you're going to show them the net sheet and tell them that you're going to have one of those you're going to pull up that's going to show exact value of their home. And then here's your marketing strategy. You guys can change this around whatever you're going to use. If you do not know where to find this QR code, I think I told you that last time. I need to go and look at that. Make sure you go into MyKW and we'll show you where to find that. This is your app that you want them to scan. They can take their phone while you're doing a Zoom. It's really neat. Tell them to put their phone up there, put it on camera. They can do that and they go, oh my gosh, they're going to have your app. So while you're doing this, you can. And then they're going to be looking for a house. They can start looking for a house and they can check some other things out. So you want to have your QR code somewhere on there. Talk about showing time. You can go to showingtime.com and you can look at the different showings and how they're picking up. I mean, there are so many that we had one the other day that Tanya had that had so many showings into the night that we had one that was at 9 o'clock, 9:15 that night. They were there. We had to go in and check to make sure. And if you have something late like that, make sure your seller's okay with it. Hers went to the hotel and spent the night because she had a new baby. But make sure that they're okay with it being shown. And then make sure that your lot box, a lot of them are set to go off so you can't get in at 8 o'clock. So you need to make sure that that's set properly. You talk about skip the fees with Keller Mortgage. You always want to talk about the value here that they have with you listing, because it takes away their closing cost. And if you don't understand that, then we'll go into this a little bit more as we get into productivity coaching. So you understand the script with Keller Mortgage. Really, really important, because you can save them money on the listing and you can save them money on the buy by using Keller Mortgage with no fees. And then talk about your social media. If you've been doing TikTok, if you're doing Instagram, if you're doing Facebook, if you're doing Instagram, what's working for you and how many views? That's great. You know, if you've got all those things, then I would take a slide of that and say, look at what we're doing here, here, here. If you're doing videos, do a live video and put it on your listing presentation. Visual is so much better than just talking through that. Video marketing, talk about professional photos. What are you doing with professional photos? Guys, don't take crappy photos. That's probably not the best word. I don't want emails about my language here, but bad photos. The first thing, the number one thing people look at are photos. So no photos, bad photos, junky photos. If you take a picture of a house and it's really cluttered, if you're there and you're taking those, or you go with your photographer, put stuff in another room and then pull it out, straighten it up for these photos. So important for you to move that property quickly. And then put your website here, Keller Williams website here. If you're using any other websites, then you want to put that on here because you're marketing with that. Realtor.com. Everything we list on our MLS goes into Realtor.com, goes out to a hub of a bunch of different, it goes to Zillow, it goes to all these homes.com. There's about 350 different search engines that once you put it in the MLS that it goes out on, that you need to make your sellers aware just by listing with you. It's going out to all these different search engines. Okay, the next slide is why list with Keller Williams Market Pro, and then you put your name on here. And then if you want to add something that you've been doing, then this is a place for you to add that. If not, if you're brand new and you don't have anything background right now, just put your name on here. And then we're going to have these statistics in box so that you can pull them every month. So this is January through May. You'll be able to pull them every month and change them out. Or you can pull them yourself. You can go into rankings into the MLS and you can pull the statistics anytime you want to. But once a month, we're pulling them. And what this shows, again, is why list with Keller Williams. And that's where you're part of. Here it shows Keller Williams Market Pro. They are ranked #1 across the board in everything. We have got right at 13. I wanted to say 13 because we keep saying 13. We've got 12.66% market share. Our average sales price right now, the average in the market itself is just a little over 200. So the average sales price is moving up. Average in Keller Williams is 260. If you want to tell somebody that. We listed during this time 527. We've sold 566. So we've sold more than we've listed. That's a total of 1,093. Then the volume, we have 139 million. We've sold 147 million. Together, 287 million. Our average days on the market is 91. And so what you can do, you can look down through here and you can pull out some things that if they're saying, well, I'm interviewing Coldwell Banker, we'll just use them. We'll just pick on them at this point. They've listed 412 to our 567. They've sold 251 to our 566. See how good this makes you look? This is value added. You've got to have these kind of things today because we need listings. Listings, I told someone the other day, and you'll hear me say this over and over and over, I would 10 times rather be the one person with the listing getting the 10, 17 offers, whatever it is, than one of the 17 offers because only one of them is going to win with that. So this slide is really important. This is thank you, and this is my promise. This is what you say to them. My promise is to provide you the most amazing and incredible real estate experience that you could ever imagine. That's my goal. So you want this to be a good experience for them. You want to sell their home in the least amount of time, make them the most money with the least amount of stress. Write that down. I want to sell your home, make you the most money in the least amount of time, in the least amount of stress. I almost said it then. So this is your homework for next week. And we are through a little bit early, so we'll have some time to visit and talk and ask questions. So for your homework, I want you to have your goals set, okay? Start tracking your goals this week, now. Don't wait. Start, if you've prospected today, get in there and start tracking your goals. If you're not in Box, the way to get in there is to get a contract from us, get it signed, and Carrie will get that file in there immediately for you. If we have to work overtime, we'll get that done. I want you to look over this listing presentation, and we'll start having live presentations starting in July. And then contract classes are on the first and second Monday. That's a reminder. So they're not going to start again until next week. And then what's next is on Monday starting July 3rd. And I know what I did. I did 2 of these and went back and changed some things. So I am going to stop sharing and I'm going to come off of here. I told you that we would talk about the multiple offers, and I cannot believe that I didn't pull that right because I had it set on there. Let's talk about that next week because I've got screens with it. If you're getting multiple offers, then there is an addendum that you need to sign that addendum with. And I called Lisa. She said she's had several of these and she's on this. Lisa, you want to talk to that? I can talk to it, but since you've done one of those, you want to tell them your experience with that multiple offers and what they can look for?
You mean in terms of the paperwork that has to happen or in terms
Well,
of how to evaluate them?
Yes, and I didn't want to put you on the spot. I'll be glad to
that's
talk
fine.
about it, but I like for you guys to share when you've had this. I think it's good to hear from somebody else in here that's doing that. And Lisa is a mega agent. She is in the top, you probably know where you are. Where are you on our board right now?
Number
talk-
two individual agent in the Fayetteville office.
Woohoo! Everybody give her a hand. Is that
No.
awesome?
No.
No, I love it. Yes, yes. So,
Nice job, Lisa.
Thanks. When you have the listing and you receive an offer, Babette had one of these this weekend.
yes.
So her seller had accepted an offer. It was an early offer and they accepted it. And then people started sending multiple offers or offers in behind it. Well, when that happens at the bottom of the real estate contract, you have to notify the subsequent buyers that there's already a contract. And so the bottom, let me look real quick, on page 12 of the contract.
It's on
I
page
have them
12,
right
and I'll
here.
bring those up next week because I don't think they can see it. You're too little.
Oh, I know, but it says buyer informed of notification of existing real estate contract addendum. So if you're accepting something as a backup offer, you have to, there's a special form, sorry, that you have to put that on page 12 and then create an addendum that lets everybody know. And then you can have multiple backups, but they have to stay in the position that that you accept them, I guess is right. Yeah, and then their command has which is one of our programs, has a way for us to compare offers when there's multiple offers. I have an Excel file that I use, which I love, but Trina Hammond has used that comparison thing within command. She's probably the current expert on that.
That's neat. We've not used that either. We need to go in there. Y'all, we're going to learn command. Command is a baby. It's growing, and there's
it's
a lot of.
toddler. It's a toddler.
It's a toddler. It's not sucking its pacifier right now, but it is a toddler. Much better than it was a year ago, isn't it, Lisa? Yes, yes. It's growing, and so lots of neat things that we're going to be able to use. What I'm hoping is a lot of us are paying for a lot of software that's out there, and the software is costing us individually. Those are the kind of things that agents that are Keller Williams agents that are building command, they have put all those things together, and we're going to be able to have those free in command. And so just like we use Canva, and if you want to go up for Canva for making designs and things like that, they've got a design library now in there, and campaigns. We're all paying for Market Leader. And that was another thing that I wanted to talk briefly to you guys about today. Market Leader, does anybody know what Market Leader is? Okay, we have an account. Y'all know what Scott Leroy is? Yes, thank you for nodding your head. I'm going, uh-oh. Do you know what Playster is? Playster went away. Scott Leroy used to do that. We had Playster and we had Market Leader, and I wasn't sure how many of you have been here for a while. Those are separate websites. Now, there's also a KW website. We have a contract with Market Leader, and it's got campaigns built. You can bring those down. You can move them over. But I'm going to spend a little bit of time. Eric and I have talked about this so that you can see what's in Market Leader. It's a neat program. And right now, they've got a contract. We've got some people that have moved off of it that I get Market Leader for like, I think it's $59 a month. I was on Market Leader before I came to Keller Williams, and it was $129 a month. So you get it discounted. It's called Pro. However, there is a free version of Market Leader. And it's got a thing in there that I have that I'll show you that if anybody needs to use something like that, we can use that. But it talks about the community and the demographics. And a lot of that now is on Kelly in command. They're moving a lot of things over. But things with Market Leader integrate. So anything you do in there, it integrates into command. It's still there. Lisa, are you still using Market Leader at all? Or you just moved to Keller Williams? And
We're leaning in pretty good to command, but there are several things I like better about Market Leader, like our newsletters there automatically to our clients. The postcards, if you do postcards for mailings for just listed or just sold, is so easy. So I use both.
we're a little bit ahead of schedule. Is that something y'all would like to maybe see next week, where you find it and those different things like that? Okay, then we'll do that so you can at least look at it and you'll have an option. You're not gonna, if you want the Pro, I'll show you the difference between the Pro and the free one. So if you want the Pro, then they've got a few slots left so that you can get the discount. If they don't have any slots left, then you can't get the discount. And I'm not sure how many he said he had, but I did talk to him, and I think Lisa, I think he told me you were one of them that was on it. Eric has it, I have it. Larry Robinson's, there's several people, but there are a few slots if you guys are interested in that. So we'll do that next week. I'll make a note, Carrie, make a note for me to do that. And let's see, do y'all have any questions with what we just went through on the listing presentation? Did you like it?
Yes.
A lot of my team, they have their own. The rest of you, I know you probably have one, Mackenzie, with Nina, that you guys are already using, and somebody else is on a team that's in here besides my team. My team, you can use either one. So you can pull things off of it, and we'll go with that. Yes, you do have a listing presentation? Yes, that's what I thought. Matt, do you already have a listing presentation?
No, this is
Okay. Okay.
one.
Well, this is what I think, and I'm hoping, I need feedback from you guys, so feel free to talk to me. It's okay if you don't have one, because how would you know how to have one at this point? You know, I mean, so, but if you're going on a listing, if you're lead generating, what are you going to do if they say yes? Has anybody had a listing presentation? I mean, any had a listing appointment and don't have a listing presentation?
They can take me with them.
Right, y'all heard her. Yes, you do need a list. When they say yes, I've had people come back and go, I'm making all these phone calls, but what the heck if they tell me yes, what am I going to do at that point? And you don't want to be there, do you? So I think we need to learn the listing presentation. Also, another thing that's in box is scripts. Does everybody on here have scripts?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Matt's being honest with me. Rika, do you have scripts? No. Okay. Kitty, you got scripts. You got skips with you can take it with me over here with them. Okay.
So I was using the listing presentation on Matrix, which that was like 36 pages long. I mean, that was like way too long. And so I'm glad I have this now, so I can, and I can see where you could add different things into the listing
Yes.
presentation on Matrix, but
I would
this seems
encourage-
more personalized.
Yes. And I would put on the very front of that, I would put my name, and then you can, but I keep getting confused. Were any of y'all on my webinars that I did, just free webinars that I started doing before I went into productivity coaching?
Yes.
You just did recently.
Yes, those webinars, I did these things on them. I showed you our listing presentation and what we did. And so I'm having a hard time thinking, was that productivity coaching or was that over here? So we did the listing presentation. We did several of those, working with buyers, those kind of things. We will probably go back through some of that, mainly because you can't, I think I've said this to you before, Gary Keller says that people don't succeed in this business because of the monotony in it. If they feel like there needs to be a magic pill, there's got to be something fun, something that's changing, the new, what's next out there, that thing that's shiny object, and there's not. It's the same thing. You learn the scripts, you learn the objections. Is an objection, and we'll do one on handling objections. I'm going to do a series on our session on personality profiling, because you need to understand if you're working with that personality that's an engineer, how do you deal with them? Most of you have had the KPA, correct? Is there anyone on here that has not had the KPA? Raise your hand.
I'm ready.
Okay, Aaron has not had it, Babette. Okay, can we get these ordered? I tell you what, if you will put that in the chat, I've not had a KPA, we'll get those ordered for you. They won't cost you anything. And we'll have whoever sends them out now, they've changed the office in there, but we'll get a KPA sent out to you. So it'll tell you your strengths. And what did I say earlier about your strengths? Not today, but I've said it before. What about your strengths and your weaknesses?
I know. Pick me.
Okay, answer, go ahead.
Leverage your strengths, minimize your weaknesses.
That's correct. There's so many people that when I first started in business and learning leadership, and I looked at my weaknesses, and they actually said this at that point. They said, work on your weaknesses, figure out how to make them better, leverage those, give them to somebody else. I mean, Carrie and I laugh at each other because we think a lot alike, except she's got that admin brain that's in there, and I'm going 90 miles an hour where she's going, hey, slow down, you got to do this over here and you got to do this over here. So that complements. You need that kind of person. Mike Bagnall and I were talking this morning, and admin, he said, I'm not an admin person. Most salespeople are not admins, but in the very beginning, when you start this business, you almost have to be both, because you can't afford to hire somebody. So our goal is to get you to the point financially where you can pay someone to help you do these kind of things. So you don't have to do them again. I mean, I can say right now in Command, as a team where we were doing that, a lot of it, I can say, Carrie, what do you do? And I will have Carrie do some command classes in here. One of the things that I would like to see her do with you guys, if you've, okay, and another thing I'd like for you to put in the chat is I have set up a Facebook ad, paid for ad in command. Is there anyone in here besides, I know Lisa has, anyone in here that has done that? Okay, Carrie, tell them what kind of results. I wasn't a believer because I was not getting a whole lot of results from Facebook ads as far as just giving me leads and stuff for the team, but tell her what kind of results. I called her on the spot, y'all. I'm sorry. I can see her face going 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, I'm typing. No, I don't know the exact numbers. I've done 5 or 6 different campaigns or paid ads. Most of them are to advertise a listing. I've seen the best results on advertising listings. I think our cost per lead, it ended up being just a rough average of all of them, about $1 per lead. And we're getting anywhere from 30 to 50 leads per paid ad that I do. So we've seen really good results on it so far.
Yes, I saw Caroline put something in the chat that she is not having any leads. We had a couple of people on our team that was trying it on their listings. We were doing this and they've sat down with Carrie. So I'm going to have her show you. Lisa, what kind of results are you getting on your leads?
We did a couple that really were good, and then we did 2 or 3 recently and we got nothing. But here's the thing. You guys have to have leads on your dashboard in command. You have to have a place for them to collect, and you have to have your notifications on in Kelly.
Hey,
So,
Lisa,
yeah.
I don't know if you've had a recent ad where you're just not receiving any leads, but I saw something, and I've got to go back and see where it was. It was posted that all of the leads that are routing to command or that are supposed to route to command they're getting stuck in Facebook, in your back
I
office.
saw
in
that,
Facebook.
but I wasn't sure where I would find them, so.
If I see that again, I'll send it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Kaylee was the one. Kaylee shared it on our Facebook, like the agent group. Like a
Oh, Kaylee Harbor is right. Okay, yeah. I'll go back and see what that is. And Lisa, I'll see if I can find some more information out on it and let you know.
Great, thanks. But you guys lean into command because there's an awful lot of capability there.
Yep, there is. And Eric wants us to hit command really, really hard. So we're going to learn the basics. I mean, we're all babies in this, but if we start now, then, who's going to catch up with us? We're already number 1 here, so no one else has this. So we're going to lean into command. The other thing that I want everyone to know on here is that I pay for Mojo leads and I pay Mojo numbers and Cole. So if you're calling around a neighborhood, the only way you can get those is you have to be in coaching. That's the only way you can get those. And we may take it to the point where you have to turn in your numbers to get those. And so you'll get the leads. You can tell Carrie, I'm working in Fayetteville in this subdivision and I want a 2-mile radius, and give her an address and she'll send it to you. So if you're in coaching and you don't understand, then you can get those numbers from us, but you have to be on these. You can't, next week you can get these if you were on here. You can't get them if you're not in coaching. So I feel like that's a reward for people that are showing up. And what you have to know is I want to get you in production. As a productivity coach, I don't make any money until you make money. So we're going to make money together. How does that sound? Okay. Was this good today? Did you get anything out of it? Yes. Hi, Dawn. Good to see you again. You're off for the summer, aren't you?
I am, yeah. And so it's been a long summer, actually.
Yeah.
So,
well,
thank
I
you.
thought
Yeah,
you were
I've
retired.
enjoyed it.
We're glad to see you. Got another year? Is that what you're saying?
In the current scenario, yeah, I thought it was wise.
Okay, guys, homework. Remember your homework. Let's get that slide and put that up. I'll put it up on productivity coaching. So you've got that, so you can go back in there. Will that work for you? The slide, so you'll know what your homework is. I can review real quick. You got to get in and start using your numbers. You need to review the listing presentation. In July, we're going to start practicing it some. I may have some one-on-ones. Also, some of you are already in production. If you're in production and have earned the right, we'll move on. If you've earned that for one-on-ones, we'll let you know that. So what I need first is is there anyone on here that has not signed a contract that's ready for it?
Sure, send me something.
Dawn, okay. Okay, I don't know if there's anyone else. I think everybody else on here pretty much had signed and they were moving forward.
I got a question. What sign contract?
Do what?
Sign a contract. What kind of contract?
Okay, productivity coaching contract. My contract, maybe you didn't get on early enough to hear that, but the productivity coaching with me is for a year or until you cap and you're on a 60-40, and that pays for productivity coaching. So I just need to know who's in the group, and that gains you access to the cloud with all these systems and coaching once a week. And then once you've earned it, one-on-ones with us. Now, I've already had phone calls, which I would call one-on-ones with a lot of you on here. So that doesn't mean that I'm not available. If you're not doing these things, we are available. However, it does mean that you're going to be able, once you've had some production, set up on like every 2 weeks to have a one-on-one 30-minute with me, which you may want that or you may not want that. It's a lot of accountability. It's filling out prep forms, knowing your numbers, your conversions, and holding you accountable for what you say you want to do. Anything else?
I
Okay.
haven't received that contract, or I haven't signed one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's Caroline.
Yes,
Carrie,
it
can you
is.
see it? Okay. Anyone else?
I haven't signed.
She didn't pay me to do this, but I'm telling you guys, it's worth it. It's really worth it. I did it for a year or more.
Yeah, you capped twice with me. She likes me. Well, she's still coming back. I love her.
It's exactly what I need right now. So this is awesome.
Good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes.
And the other thing you guys can do, if you noticed, and I've already stopped sharing, let me see if I can pull something back up here really quick. Can y'all see that?
I see your PowerPoint.
You can see the PowerPoint. Okay, let me go back. Let me go down through here, and I'm gonna go to KW Bucks. Okay. All right, if you look down here on the very bottom of this, bring a new agent prospect to PC, I'll talk to them. You just get them here on coaching and you get 500. So Babette, I think you have one here. If we get a contract with them, you get 500. Or you just get 500 for doing that. So y'all keep up with this. So that means if you send me a text that says I've invited so-and-so, and then I'll probably text them too for you. But if you get them here from inviting, because we had on our list, we had probably, Carrie, what did we have? Started out with like 110 people that should be in productivity coaching, and they're narrowing them down now. Some of them are out, but I've had a lot of people say no one's contacted me for this. And so we want to change that. We want to get you in production, and that's what I'm here for. So if you know someone that's newer that needs to be in productivity coaching, then just let me know, and then you send an invite out to them and get them in here, and you can get KW Bucks for it. So it's not hard to get these KW Bucks. And again, Lisa's the only one here that's probably done this. It's fun at the auction, isn't it? Yes, they're more fun in person. So I'm having to do these digital with a bank. I used to hand out real money and you kept it. And some meetings when we were all together, I would just throw the money in the air and everybody could run and grab it. And so it was fun to do those kind of things. However, well, I'm excited, guys. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for participating. Thank you for asking questions and sharing your successes. We're going to start doing that because I believe that that's what it's all about. It helps me to know that you're doing this. So if you've written a contract this week, we need to know so we can get you some success from that. We'll do capping thermometers so you can see where you are with those things. So I'm excited. We have so many things that we're going to do. Thanks for being here today. I will see you next week. And between now and then, if you need me, you know how to get me. Carrie put my phone number up there. Okay? See you later. Thanks for coming, Lisa. Thanks, Dawn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Matthew. Is it Matt or Matthew?
Thank you.
Either or.
Which one do you like better, Matt?
Yeah, that's fun.
Hey, okay, you started when? What is your production?